Hi everyone, it's Mr. T back again. Thanks for tuning in. Now, I just wanted to give you an update on what has happened, what is happening, especially here in the Caribbean, because different countries are launching different bullshit steps at different stages, different timings if you pay attention. I've got contacts all the way around the world and they're giving me updates. Like in Mexico, I have contacts there who said, oh no, for a while there, the president, he just keeps everything going and everything's sweet here. I'm out swimming and all the rest of it. But I said, you just wait and see, because we've been locked up down here and it's going to come there. Suddenly, I got a picture from laser-weaponed houses or direct energy weapons that have hit houses, and suddenly the president has changed his tune. Whether that was the reason why he changed his tune, I don't know. There's different places in the world that's been bombarded, attacked by direct energy weapons. We even saw it way back in The Simpsons, how they were frying the streets and buildings with these laser weapons. And everything that was shown in The Simpsons seemed to come true. Ironic, isn't it? Now, I just wrote down some notes here, so I'm going to just read out some points. I wrote down, the globalist Illuminati cabal has already locked up the entire world in home prison. What crime did you commit? Can it get worse? Well, home prison, that's what it is. Okay, they don't have enough jails to lock up billions of people, so what do they concoct instead? To lock us up in our own homes. And then there's first-time offence, second-time offence, or fine, third-time fine, like you see in UK and crazy countries like that coming in. So this is not about just curing some virus that's running rampant. If you believe in it, don't believe in it, it doesn't really matter now. What we need to pay attention to is, what are the governments doing, or what opportunities are they taking in the midst of all of this to implement new laws and rules and regulations. And they usually push forward 5 inches. We may push back 1 inch, and they kept 4 on us. They just robbed us of more freedoms, our civil rights, our human rights, our property rights, and they are very hard to get back again. So they say they never like to miss a good crisis. So they're taking opportunities in this, whether they created it or something else or somebody else created it. They are definitely taking opportunities to turn it into a more of a totalitarian society in every single country. And this is what we must fight back against. Anyway, so here's a few what-if things. What happens if? You'll get fined heavily if you are found leaving your home prison, and that could be 24/7. So far, in Dominican Republic, they started with your home prison hours from 8 o'clock at night to 6 in the morning the next day. And then they pulled it back to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Now panic kicks in. You only got a few hours to get out there and do your shopping and all that. And we started seeing queues at supermarkets. That's another tactic to create panic and fear in people, is to put restrictions on everything. Only 2 or 3 people can go in at a time to the supermarket when somebody comes out, just like you see at a busy nightclub, but they're not busy when you get inside. And then you can't buy any food here, I was told, next time, unless you have a mask and gloves on. And I said, what do I need, a condom as well? And I said, I'll never spend my money in your damn supermarket again. So I'd rather go to small side street colmados, these are grocery stores, and get my groceries if it comes down to it, because then I'm standing on my principles, which is part of it. If everybody said to the supermarket owner, stuff you unless you let me in without a mask and gloves. Because let me just give you the little story about the mask and gloves. You may think it's good for you, but you are actually being tricked into the opposite, which is, let's take the example of people being sent to the Antarctic. They're isolated for months on end there, and when they return, not having had human contact for months, funny how they all fall sick. So when our immune system's not getting to fight viruses from different people every day, then it gets weaker and weaker and weaker in terms of when you're finally introduced to having to fight those viruses. Washing your hands too much and sanitizing and all that, that stops your natural process of the immune system fighting different bacteria and viruses. So it's not a smart thing to do unless there is a true supervisor around, but nobody I know has seen a body yet. We just get to see some bags that's supposed to have bodies in them. We get to see a lot of trucks that's supposed to have bodies in them. We get to see some hospital wards with patients in them. And when the hell didn't hospitals have patients in them? And we get to hear a lot of fine-suited people talk about the drama. And we all just have to believe the lamestream media. Come on, folks. We have to be a little bit smarter. We know disinformation has been around for years. They came to a certain point where they said, the truth doesn't matter, it's what sells. So, especially America, not to pick on Americans, but that's where the best and the worst for the world came out of, in my opinion. Many things were given birth to there, but also many bad things like propaganda. And the whole world caught on. So the propaganda machines are running in every single country 24/7 to scare people, to ruffle their whole life around right now, so they'll panic and stay inside in their home jails in case they get caught by the police and get fined or put in a real jail. I mean, we got to just decide collectively what to do here, because that's not how we want to live, is it? Anyway, what happens if you're a repeat offender in their Nazi eyes? Yeah, I say Nazis because after the World War, all these Nazis were released. There were 17 people getting prosecuted in the Nuremberg trials, and they probably got let out the back door because it's the same cabal above them who was controlling the world. The war didn't stop. It just settled down, and then all these 1,000+ Nazi scientists got shipped off to NASA and many other big organizations in US, and they've been working for the cabal ever since, unless they died and got too old, of course, but then they had already passed on their knowledge. And here we are, reaping the sour fruits of that still today. Anyway, you get an inflamed appendix, and you have to go to hospital, where they isolate you from the rest of your family. Now this is dangerous, because we've already had reports from UK, from China, and even here locally, that the hospital staff come back and tell them, sorry, the person died of the COVID-19 virus. And when they demand to see the person, they're all hysteric. Then they refuse to show them the family member, say they've already been taken away, they're too high a risk to introduce to you, and they've already been cremated. Well, that's some serious stuff. I'm getting videos like that coming through, people yelling at hospital staff, etc. So we have to be very aware there's some sinister things. We've known for years that pedophiles over in Hollywood and bankers and politicians and royals are going to special locations and doing nasty things to little children that came from these sweet orphanages and many other places, and then they get tortured, killed, and even cannibalistic things happening afterwards. So, I mean, this is the same sick bunch of bastards who are now imprisoning all of us. Wake up. If we don't wake up, who's there to help all the victims that are screaming out for help? No one. So you got to be a little bit on the paranoid side. Isn't it time that we ask the governments of the world to prove that they're innocent, rather than just trusting them all the time? Come on, guys. Okay, what happens if you get a nasty tooth infection while you're locked up and the dental services are all shut down because the whole economy's been put on freeze? You can't get any kind of service. So now you have to go back to like they did in the 1500th century, get somebody to take a pair of pliers and pull the inflamed tooth out of your face just to survive and not get blood poisoning. I mean, that's where they're kind of pushing us. I made a video just recently which was titled, "Not to Let Them Push Us Into the Quicksand of Tyranny," because that's exactly what's happening. Bit by bit, we are having our freedoms robbed from us, and people are living in hope. Oh, well, when this is finished, I'm hearing it's not going to finish. Or if they do take the pressure off a bit, then you'll find it's not like how it used to be before this stupid thing was put on us all. So we would have lost a lot of our freedoms. Anyway, next one. You need a new house pump or house batteries or some kind of part for an appliance. So there could even be a computer that breaks down and you need it repaired. Now you can't get these things fixed. Now what? What do? You're crippled. They're letting society decay and decay back to the Stone Ages. And you may not believe that that's their agenda. I certainly do, because I've seen enough evidence of it. And it's like bad people in society. Give me a few seconds with a person, I can tell that's an arsehole or that's a bitch. And that's it. They're gone. I disconnect from them, because don't hang around dogs, you get fleas. And a lot of people don't want to be realists and just see shit for what it is. There's clay and there's shit. Separate the two. All right? And if they're doing nasty actions that are not matching the words, well, then don't trust them. Hey, Trump, as an example. There's a lot of Trump lovers out there, and you may hate me for this, but I went, yes, when you won the election. Then I woke up later on and thought, well, you say this, and that. but the actions don't go parallel with the words. Like I said in a previous video, why are you letting FEMA barges being built, FEMA camps? Why did you just recently, during this stupid COVID-19 Illuminati virus campaign here, rob all the gun stores for all the bullets and rifles? Oh, that's to protect the people. No, you were the one that was standing up for the Second Amendment, and it says in there, shall not be infringed. That means people should have the right to go and buy weapons under the Second Amendment to protect themselves and their family. So what happened to that? Why did you allow the spraying of 200 million tons of chemicals every year in the air, Trump? I could go on. There's so many stupid things being signed in. Why is tanks being deployed across America right now? We saw them for the last 10 years on trains. A bigger military movement than you found in the whole Second World War together. Now, Trump, why are you deploying military? Are you going to fight viruses with tanks? You know, create the problem, control the impression and the reaction, and implement the new totalitarian solution. You know, it doesn't matter whether it's Trump or Hillary that became a president. It's still government. And like George Carlin says, I don't trust anything governments say or do. And neither do I. Anyway, the next one here. As no parts or services are no longer available, your transportation breaks down and wears down, trapping you even further. And if you even dare to leave your home, your prison, you could get fined or caught and locked up and become another COVID-19 victim. How is that? What happens if you and your girlfriend or your wife, you're expecting a baby? Now the water breaks and you have to get past Gestapo to get to the hospital, which was hard enough to get them to understand. You know, we need to get there urgently. You get to the hospital, now they want to separate you and your lady. You're not allowed as the father to see the child being born. I mean, what's going to come next? That we're going to be told, sorry, her and the baby died for COVID-19 reasons. I mean, I'm not saying that could happen, but there's some crazy things coming out now in the open that are not making sense in terms of homeless people that was fit and healthy, and then there are people coming to check on them. They're told, 10-15 minutes later that that person has already died and has ended up in an oven. That's the crazy stuff that we have to be careful of. That's the same people who are hurting children and torturing them, etc., overseas that are running this show. So why wouldn't they do horrible things like that? All right, the next one. You want to take your pets for a walk because you're going stir crazy with this home imprisonment. But you know you can get fined heavily if you go out there. So now you're living in nerves that, shit, I can get arrested if I go for a walk with my dogs. And this is starting to screw your life up as a sovereign human being, which we should be. But we've been trapped, and now they're entrapping us even more. And what happens if you're wanting to sneak out, but you're paranoid about the police drones and thousands of cameras that are being set up everywhere, and your neighbors can snitch on you on 0800 numbers or whatever other telephone numbers they set up? This crap is already happening in the UK right now. Don't you see it? All in the name of supporting the COVID-19 virus cleanup, where we don't even see bodies, see the froth coming out of the mouth. We don't see any evidence of people bleeding. We're not allowed to see 50, 20 bodies, the actual bodies, not the bloody bags, the bloody bodies. Okay, we want to see the proof. We live in times of disinformation. Show us the proof. Or go screw yourself about screwing the whole world up and our lives and everything we've ever worked for. And people pay taxes for years and years and years. Do they give a flying shit if they screw up you and your family's lives? Not one little bit. They are cashing in heavily. They had built the world up with debt, printing money like crazy. And because they are not willing to be responsible beings in life, because I don't even know if I want to call them human beings, they are heartless pieces of shit, excuse my French. But then it's okay for us to have to carry the can, yeah? Even if it causes us to die off. That's who we are dealing with here, guys and ladies. Let's wake up. Now, the next one is you're pissed off having heard about this damn virus so much, and now you want to warn others, but new heavy fines have been implemented for anyone criticizing the Reich. Seek Heil, and they can be locked up and become a victim of it. All right, the next one, you're almost out of food and money, and even if you wanted to go out and try to make a living, then all the businesses and jobs have disappeared. Then what? Well, hell, I'm already in that position. There's no businesses to sell to. All right, so now we have to reinvent ourselves in our home jails and see if we can make a living from here. So yeah, please make a donation. If you like the information I'm giving, please look after Mr. T in these times. Thank you. All right, the next one. Yes, you no longer can afford the rent and must find other accommodation, but the landlords now want insane security deposits. Now what? Shit, where's my tent? Or even if you do own a home, or this in the Nazi cabal who's doing this to us, suddenly cut your power and water off, then what? Or let's say the Nazi cabal, they decide to cut off your internet service, or you can't afford to have internet anymore, then what? And the next one is, what if they suddenly announce that all cash is now worthless, as it's potentially infectious? They've already started pitching that one. Then what? Everything you had saved is suddenly just gone? It's such uncertain times. And there's a saying though, courage is to move forward in the face of uncertainty. But God damn it, it's changing quickly. And unless you are keeping your finger on the pulse every day and you stay realistic, you are in for a huge shock sooner or later. That video I made about being pushed into the quicksand of tyranny, it's happening daily. New laws, new rules everywhere around the world, and new incidents is happening. So wake up and retaliate, because down the track, when you're too far into that quicksand, you can't retaliate anymore. You're too stuck. All right, so it's better to be paranoid, and even if you're kind of on the fence a bit with what Mr. T's saying, take the paranoid side now. You can always go, well, I'm glad it wasn't so bad later on. For now, it can turn much worse, and then you don't want to be caught without all the parts that you needed, the petrol you needed, the weapons you needed, or anything else that you needed to protect your family and stay afloat through this shit slide to hell that they're putting us all in. Okay, all right, the next one here. What if you want to get together with a group of people because you're just going nuts, you want to have a party? Now you all have to risk trying to go to some place and not get arrested for being outside your home prison, but you get threatened with flamethrowers. This is what a politician in Italy, he did on camera to the world. He says, if you do not listen, we come with flamethrowers. Does it remind you of anybody? Sieg Heil, or Mussolini, or any of these other nasty parasites in the past. Let's say you miss being at a concert, going to a theater, karaoke, dining out, rollerblading, or doing any other life-enhancing activity, or anything fun or uplifting. But it's now all become forbidden, and you can get fined if you engage in those activities. Does this sound a little bit like George Orwell 1984's book? Yeah, it does to me. Now, let's say you're being offered, all right, the next one, you're being offered a little financial help from the very Nazi New World Order cabal who screwed you up in the first place. Yet the catch is that you must take their highly toxic mercury-based vaccination and receive the, what do they call, the mark of the beast on your arm. It could be an invisible tattoo, but it's still the mark of the beast. So they can track you everywhere in the future. And having mercury in the body is a metal, and we've already been breathing in a lot of metals from what they've been spraying. So on their new 5G system, global system, they can track us anywhere they want. Then what? Do you see where all this is going? A total totalitarian society if we don't fight back. All right, let's just say when you're out on your trips having to justify yourself through these Gestapo roadblocks just to get what they deem to be your necessities. Let's say the queues, even to the simplest things, are so long. What are you spending your life doing? Standing in queues in a very depressed, sad, angry world. Is this really what you want? I don't think so. All in the name of protecting us from that dangerous COVID-19 virus. How much pain can you handle before enough is enough? Okay, you finally realize that everything the accused conspiracy theorists like me warned you about has become the new harsh reality. Are you then going to come and say sorry to people like us who try to warn you? It's better that you do it sooner than later and just get on the program for freedom, for being a sovereign human being, which is what we are meant to be. I will definitely keep fighting it because some birds just ain't meant to be caged. Freedom's for everybody, but not everybody's for freedom. All right, I've brought enough points up that I could keep going and going and going. There's a lot of crap that could go wrong. So what do we do about it? Okay, now that's the dangerous part if I had to start going into details. But what did all our forefathers do when governments went rogue? They had to join forces. So this is our time to connect while you still can connect. Don't just spend all your time watching the lamestream media. get a bit paranoid about all of this. Watch David Icke. Watch The Crow House, watch High Impact Vlogs, watch Rosa Koire, watch Deborah Tavares on Stop the Crime. Look into these people's information, and then you'll realize, well, I didn't used to believe what they said, but that kind of matches the world they're pushing on us right now. And the more you hear and learn from them, the more you come to realize what might be coming our way. And it's probably going to affect you in a very negative way. All right, I'm sitting under a tree here. It's getting dark, so I better wind up. But the final thing is, proper planning prevents poor performance. We only have so much time before they close all the gates on us to get everything we need to get, to prepare all the things we need to prepare. They don't care if you run out of food or money. What is this all about? It's to create what they've always wanted, civil unrest, so they can truly show what we are already under, martial law. Under martial law, the courts ain't operating. Guess what? Half an hour from where I'm sitting here, there's some courts. They're already shut down. There's no road police anymore. So the road police, they're already gone. Now we only have the police that normally handles crime and theft, etc., plus the military. So we are in martial law. In US, they've been in martial law for years because you've got the gold rim around the flag. And it gets renewed every year. They just don't tell people. But now, on the stage of illusion of freedom, the chairs and tables are being removed, the curtains coming down, so you can see the cold brick wall at the back and everything that's going on. So this is definitely time to wake up and retaliate, guys. And with that, feel free to comment below, and you can join InfoHub. That'll support my work and my risk-taking here, speaking out. You can also make a donation. Click on the donation icon in the top right of the channel, and I need it more than ever right now to help give you more information of what to be careful of as things change and progress here. So with that, take care, fight hard, and join your militia. Bye-bye.